Nice
Here
to
we
meet
go.
you, man.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to freeworld.fm, Rat Cell Review Radio. My name is Wayne, and I am joined by Chris51. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Wayne? Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing good. I see one of my favorite things behind you right there, Vic from Megadeth. That's a really cool thing
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. Up there, the one I painted.
Yeah,
Yeah, I painted that one up there. It took a long damn time.
I could imagine.
Yep,
Is Megadeth one of your favorite bands?
they are. I'm excited because I got Ed, the original artist who created him. I got him coming to my Headbangers Con, so
Oh,
I'm just
really?
gonna geek out meeting him and talking art and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty exciting.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was actually I have Megadeth lined up on the show later, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And actually, usually do a show before this at 8 o'clock on YouTube, and we were going to start a Megadeth discography. So we'll probably start that next week. But yeah,
Very
one of my
cool.
favorite bands. I don't know
Oh,
about
mine too.
Is there a favorite era of Megadeth for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely, I would say, album 2 and 3,
Okay.
and I love So Far So, I think So Far So Good So What is very underrated. I love that record. So I'd say 2 through 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Rust in Peace and So Far So Good and Killing. I'd say
Yeah.
that. How about you?
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can. I go
actually,
up to.
I don't know.
I listen to them all, but I go up to my favorite one is Count. Not my favorite one, but my last favorite one is Countdown. I like Cryptic Writings a little bit, but after that, it's like, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's good stuff.
Dystopia got really better. I think it kind of fits with like maybe like the later stuff a little bit.
I
And the
agree.
last album ain't too bad, but
Yeah.
just those first four, maybe five albums are like the best.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
But we're not talking about Megadeth today. We're talking about you. And I had no idea who you were. Ben from Online Mental Promo said, had this guy Chris51 come on. I'm like, who's Chris51?
Uh-huh.
Where did you get that name, Chris51? What does that even mean?
When I started tattooing, there was another 25 years ago, there was another Chris tattoo artist in town, and he was awful. I did not want to be
Yeah,
associated
you
with
don't
him
want
at
to be
all.
associated
So
with that.
yeah, my shop was called Area 51 Tattoos, so I just came
Ah,
up with the name Chris 51 to kind of separate myself, and it just kind of stuck from there, like 25 years ago.
all right. So that makes
Yeah.
sense. All right, cool, very cool. And so I was looking through your Facebook and stuff like that. You really haven't been on there very much. I see you're not really a social media guy.
I'm more on Instagram. I'm an
Instagram. Okay.
Instagram guy.
All right. I'll
Yeah.
check the Instagram. I don't really go to the Instagram too much, even though we're on there, but all right, I'll check
Yeah.
the Instagram more. But
Because it's more visual. I'm an artist, so I,
right,
I
right.
like the visual aspect of Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did check some Instagram stuff and I noticed you had a lot of Simpson stuff. You're a huge Simpson fan, I would imagine.
I am. I probably do the most Simpsons tattoos in the world. I really
Really?
do. I got
Okay.
people that fly in from all over to get Simpsons pieces all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun.
I would imagine so if you can keep drawing them.
Yeah.
You still watch the show.
I do.
Yeah.
I still watch it and I still love it. I mean, it's
Really.
not as good, obviously, as the middle era, but I still
Right.
love it. I still find myself laughing, and as long as you're laughing, then that's the point, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for some reason it seemed to die down for me after they did the movie. And that was like
Uh,
one of the pinnacle things that they did. And then after that kind of slowly like disappeared. And also too when they started taking all the characters away and all this all the nonsense that's going
oh
on.
yeah. Oh, the nonsense. Trust
Yeah.
me, I know.
I can't stand it, but it is what it is. But I'm just glad
Yeah.
it's still going today. It's just one of I think it's one of the longest running shows, that and wrestling, Monday Night
Yeah.
Raw. I think the two longest running TV shows.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Um. So you're an artist. You're a tattooist. How did you get involved doing tattoos?
I used to own a music store like a long time ago, and Napster hit,
Oh,
so the bottom fell out in that, and then everyone started downloading and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'll sell like swag, I'll sell t-shirts and chain wallets. And then Hot Topic got real big at the same time, and I couldn't do
right.
that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll put a tattoo station in my, I had like a heavy metal shop, and I'll put a tattoo station there. That'll be cool. I got a lot of tattoos. And I couldn't find anyone to tattoo. They were all like tweakers and ex-cons and people that I didn't want stealing my records.
Right. Right.
So I was like, shit, I'm kind of a good artist. I'm always designing flyers for my bands and my friends' company logos and this and that. I was like, I'll try it. And once I did the first line of my first tattoo, man, I was like, screw the record store, dude. This is what I was born to do. And I just knew. And then I closed the record store and just opened a tattoo shop that pretty much was just like the record store anyways. But, you know, yeah.
Well, did you draw when you were you drawing when you were younger too, or you just started?
I drew. I mean, it started with this guy, like Eddie and Vic and Iron Maiden and Megadeth, and drawing those characters, which I think we probably all did, you know, and drawing album covers. That's where it all started for me, you know, that and comic books. I mean, that was it. That was the greatest stuff, you know.
Did you have a favorite comic book?
The Hulk. I love the Hulk. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How come the Hulk?
He's just always so tough. I was really into wrestling at the time, you know.
Okay.
And Hulk Hogan and all the big guys and Ultimate Warrior and all those guys. And the Hulk to me was just like one of those big tough guys, you know. I thought Batman was a pussy and Spider-Man, you know.
What? Batman
break him in half. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
We're fighting already, aren't we?
I'm not going to turn my camera around because my wall is full of Batman stuff.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. And I got a Batman thing over there somewhere.
I see you got wrestlers over there too.
I got
cool.
some wrestling things here.
Yeah.
It's my dungeon down here. I got a little bit of everything down here. But Batman's one of my favorites. But when I started with comic books, it was Spider-Man.
Nice.
I always loved the way they drew him in all different, especially when Tom McFarlane started drawing him, and then he would draw him in all these like weird poses, you know.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. And
that was cool.
I tried drawing too. I drew for a very long time, and all of a sudden I got involved with music and wanting to play drums, and I'm still playing drums today. Nice. And just wanted to be a musician, and then start a podcast because music doesn't really work out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So I drew a lot too, but I'd lost it over the years, and I just unfortunately never kept up with it. And I wish I have, because I did want to start doing it again once my son was born, so I could teach him how to draw and stuff like that. But I just never could. I just can't get back what I had when I was younger.
Right. Well, you can teach him how to play drums. I mean, that's an art form in itself, you know?
I could, but then he'd come down here and make noise.
Oh, yeah. You don't want that. That's your space right there.
Yeah, that's my space. We'll keep it. Because I know the noise that my parents went through when I was younger, playing the drums. Right. I don't want to hear it. No. Right. No, eventually he loves coming down here. So eventually hopefully he takes up an instrument. We'll see.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. But then you got a show on A&E. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was crazy. You know, Miami Ink and those couple shows came out, and honestly, I hated them. They were so violent, and everyone was pissed off and wanting to fight. They were arguing all the time and stuff. And I'm like, man, that is so not how me and my friends in the industry are. We're a bunch of comic book nerds. We collect action figures. You know, we are so polar opposite of that. I didn't like the stigmatism that was giving tattooing. I'm sitting here tattooing at Comic-Cons and stuff like that, and just having a great old time. And so I wanted to show the world the other side of tattooing. So I found a building that was close to the one that I owned, and it was a big, huge building, tall ceilings, great for camera. I just pictured a show in there. And I just manifested that shit. I just saw this vision of it working there, and I wrote all these scripts down and storylines, and I casted my own cast and did the whole thing. And someone kind of heard along the lines that I was doing it, and a sci-fi or a production company got a hold of me and says, "Hey, Sci-Fi, I heard you're the guy." Actually, they talked to Josh Bodwell, one of my castmates, and he referred me because he knew I was working on this thing. And they got a hold of me, and they're like, "We heard you're the guy. We want to do this TV show pilot for Sci-Fi Network." They gave us a couple bucks, and would you be down? And I'm like, "Dude, I am ready more than you thought," And I sent them everything I had, and they're like, "Holy shit, like this is more prepared than we are, Okay, we're doing this." And we shot the pilot. Sci-Fi loved it, and it went through all the levels of focus groups and that kind of thing. And it got to the very end, and they're like, "No, we're not going to do it." We were so close.
Wow.
And we just wanted a pilot episode, just one episode, to prove that we were great artists and we were funny. And, we knew there was a lot of people out there like us, right?
Right.
We just wanted one episode, and we got turned down, and I was pretty bummed, but I didn't give up. And here a couple weeks later, I got the call from A&E, and not only did they want a pilot, but they wanted a full season.
Oh,
They
wow.
loved us, and they
Yeah.
snatched us up before anyone else could.
Hmm.
And then we got the season that way, and they gave us a huge budget and plastered my ugly mug all up and down like Hollywood Boulevard on billboards. It was the craziest thing, dude. Like you'd have never thought in a million years.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, 1.5 million people a week watching and stuff, and it changed my life. I mean, it was awesome. It was really stressful, and there's a lot of haters and jealousy and stuff like that that comes along with it.
Yeah, of course.
But once you learn how to get above that and not let it bother you, then it's all, you can just enjoy every minute of it, and I have ever since. And I still benefit from that show. I have a huge clientele, and I tattoo all kinds of rock stars and cool people, and I love life because of it, and it's because I was prepared. I always like to tell people, if you want to do something, be prepared for it. So when the time comes, no one else is going to get that but you,
Right.
and that's kind of what it was. So it was a great time in my life. It was almost like 10 years ago now, which is crazy.
Right. Yeah.
I filmed a couple pilots for other shows since then. Nothing's taken off, but I got a new one right now called Collectors Inc. that we shot ourselves. A couple of guys from Ink Master, and we're about to put that on Amazon Prime. So
Okay.
you will see my ugly ass face again on TV soon, hopefully on Amazon Prime, probably by early next year, I would say. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, it'd be a fun one.
Yeah, definitely. So what happened? Why did the show end on A&E? Just
I don't know. It was like it got great reviews. Some people say it was like too positive, like there was no drama. And
okay.
people unfortunately liked that negative drama, but it got great reviews. It was their number 2 show, I think, behind Duck Dynasty at the time.
No.
And we signed for season 2. We were all set to go. We signed. We were actually going to make a little money this time instead of going broke. I had to close my shop the first time. I was broke, dude. I almost went bankrupt. It's funny because people are like, "Oh, you're on TV. You got tons of money." I lost tons of money.
Wow.
But this time around, okay, season 2, we get paid a little. We get a little more, saying what we're doing and stuff like that. And we signed the contracts. It was all good to go. And A&E as a whole was kind of tanking. So they fired all their executives. They hired a whole new staff. And the new head honcho guy was like, I don't want any more tattoo shows. I don't want Desperate Housewife shows and trash and this and that. And they just cut us like that. It was pretty crazy. But I'm not mad, dude. I got a TV show on 0.00001% of someone who can say they got their own TV show that was just born from this vision and this dream that they had, and they took it all the way to the pinnacle, and it's been great. I toured the world doing Comic-Cons and guest appearances and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm not salty at all we didn't get a season 2. I would have loved to, but that's the way that's the way it goes. So I'm cool with it.
Not too many people can say they got a TV show. So.
Exactly, right?
And to do it for a year as long as you did. So that's awesome,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the cool thing about the show is we were completely ourselves. People say, "Oh, reality TV is so fake." They tried. Like,
I was going to ask, was there like a
the very first episode, the director was like, "Okay, all of you guys gather around this table, and I want you to talk about your favorite movie or something, and say this, and you say that," and we're like, "Okay, sure," And we talked about that for 5 seconds, and then it went off to some weird time travel paradox, crazy nerdy shit.
Just typical guy stuff that we were just random.
And they let us roll for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was like a 10-minute scene. And they finally were like, cut. And they came in, and the showrunner was like, "Okay, remember that time I told you a couple hours ago what to talk about? I will never do that again. You guys talk about anything you want and just keep talking, because it's gold." Yeah. And they never again told us what to say. So every word on that show is straight from our mouth and our creation, and I'm proud of that. It was fun.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of those other shows didn't have that freedom.
Oh no, not at all.
Especially with the fight. I mean, who's fighting getting tattoos?
Yeah, exactly.
You go to get something. It's supposed to be a fun time at least.
Right.
And you do a lot of celebrity tattoos. Is there one that you haven't maybe done yet that you're waiting? Maybe hopefully they ask you to do a tattoo on them?
Oh, I could probably have a whole list of those, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I would love to tattoo, especially like kind of in the nerd community, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I've tattooed some pretty cool people out there that have some pretty cool jobs, that's for sure.
Yeah. Who's your favorite that you've tattooed so far then?
I would say definitely my favorite actor is John Bernthal, who played the Punisher, you
Oh,
know.
okay. Yep. Mhm.
And he was in Fury. He's been in a billion movies.
Mhm.
He was the coolest dude ever. We talked about our sons playing tackle football, and his wife wouldn't let his son play. She's afraid he was going to get injured, and I tell you what, I am not even lying. Every time I tattooed him, I'd go to a convention, and then I'd see him 6 months later, another convention. He asked how my son was doing by name.
Oh,
He
wow.
asked how he was throwing the ball at quarterback. He remembered everything. He is the most legit dude I've ever met. Like,
Wow.
stand up guy, amazing, amazing human being. So he's my favorite. I would say actor.
Mm.
Musician wise, I like Charlie Benante from Anthrax a lot.
Good answer.
I've tattooed him probably 5 times, and it's always cool shit. He's a huge Simpsons fan,
Yep. Yep.
so needless to say, we get along really well. And he came up one convention, I think in Chicago, and he came up and introduced himself. He's like, "Hey, Chris 51, I'm a big fan. I love Epic Inc. I'm a big fan of your work." And I'm like, "Holy shit! Hey, Charlie from Anthrax, I've been
Yeah.
a fan of your work since I was like 9 years old, dude. Like,
Right. Right.
let's tattoo." Like, and we just became friends at that point on. So it's pretty awesome.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He has a signature snare drum, and I really want to get it. It's a little bit
Oh,
more
nice.
money than I want to spend, but I love his snare sound, and I do want to get it eventually. I was hoping my wife
Yeah.
would have got it for me for Christmas, but she's too cheap.
You know, I was supposed to tattoo at my next convention. I'm supposed to tattoo. Remember when you were kids? They had the barrel of monkeys.
Yes, yes.
It was a toy, and all the monkeys hung on each other.
Yep.
I'm supposed to tattoo the barrel of monkeys on Gary Holt from Exodus
Excellent.
and
Okay.
Slayer.
Mhm.
Each monkey to represent like grandkids or something like that. So I thought that'd be kind of exciting to do. You got this big, one of the greatest guitarists ever, and this thrash metal god, and he's gonna have these monkey plastic toys on him. I just love the juxtaposition of that. I can't wait to
Right.
do it. So that should
Yeah.
be fun.
What's the most ridiculous tattoo you've done so far?
Oh God, I've done so
I
many.
mean, that sounds kind of pretty ridiculous right there.
I tattooed. I would say I tattooed a guy's dick one time,
Oh, jeez.
and his last name was King, and I tattooed like a king's crown with like little jewels and stuff around his dick. So that was definitely a learning experience that I don't ever really care to do again. But,
That's
you
gotta
gotta try
hurt
it
too.
once,
That's gotta
right?
be like one of the most spots that would hurt. I mean,
Oh God,
that's
it kills. I've tattooed my own, so trust me, I know
oh my god.
it hurts. Don't do it. I passed myself out doing it. It is not fun. It is not fun at all. I don't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it. It's stupid.
So why'd you do it?
Because I'm
Just to
stupid.
Oh my god. What was I going to say? So you started with the Headbangers convention.
Yeah.
How'd you get started doing that?
Honestly, kind of tattooing at Comic Cons and stuff. I was tattooing the guys like Charlie, and one of my best friends in the world is Morgan Rose from Seven Dust.
Mm-hmm.
And I was tattooing him at a convention in Atlanta, and I remember seeing him like in awe, seeing like stormtroopers walk by and cosplayers and stuff, and he just loved it there, and kind of gave me the idea, like, every metalhead that I know is a geek, like is a nerd. Everyone I know loves Star Wars, loves wrestling, loves all that shit, right? He-Man and G.I. Joe, every metalhead I know loves that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I combine the two? Why don't I've been to enough Comic-Cons on all sides as a quasi-celebrity, as a tattoo artist, as a vendor from all sides. I've seen all angles, so I know what makes a convention run,
Right.
It's like, why don't I take my knowledge of Comic-Cons and do that for heavy metal? So it's not based around concerts. It's based more around a Comic-Con where you get to actually meet and hang out with the rock stars like they're celebrities at their booths, they're signing autographs, they're taking pictures, and they're there all day, just like at a Comic-Con. You'd walk up to an actor and you get to talk about your favorite scene and this and that, you know, because all we're used to is this $200 meet and greet where you're rushed through and you get 5 seconds with them, and that's it, you know. So I kind of made it more of a fan experience based around, you know, the rock stars as personalities and as people to meet and hang out with, rather than what they perform live. And then I do panels, like live panels on stage, like you'd see at a Comic-Con. You know, you see the cast of this new movie promoting the movie or whatever. Well, I got somebody on stage talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, shit you would never hear unless you read an autobiography down the road or something like that. So it went over really well, and people loved it. So I had my first one in 2018, and we crushed it. It was awesome. And I was going to do my next one in 2020, and obviously COVID hit, couldn't do that. I had another one planned out for 2021, and remember we had like a second COVID shit hit. Couldn't do that, so I took it online, and I started doing online Headbangers Cons, where you kind of are in a Zoom room, a chat room, and you get to still hang out for like an hour or two, and 20, 25 people, and they all get to hang out and talk and ask questions. And so I would send the guys like a stack of photos, you know. So say Gary Holt was on there, I'd send Gary a stack of photos, and then when each person came up, he personalized and signed it. He'd send them back to me, and then I'd mail them out to everyone individually. So I kind of, I don't know, I'm not saying I like invented online conventions, because I'm sure other people are doing it, but I didn't know about it. I just kind of thought of a formula that might work, and people loved it, you know. And so I've done those ever since. And I finally got I got someone who wanted me to bring back Headbangers and kind of gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I got some guys that are helping fund this thing. So if they're going to do the hard part with the money, I will do the fun part by talking to all my boys and organizing this whole thing, you know. So I'm having a ball doing it. I love it, man. I wish I could do this shit like a touring Comic-Con all over the country, you know, one every other month or something. That would be my dream job for sure. I would stop tattooing to do that, honestly.
Very cool. And it's in Seattle, so you're going to make another one that's going to be like in an actual place this time, or is this?
This one's in Seattle.
Okay.
At a like a concert venue, like a mid-size, you know, holds a couple thousand people. So the venue owner is the one who wants me to do it. So that's why I'm doing it, because I have full access to this venue to do everything under one roof, which is pretty damn cool. So yeah, it'll be live in Seattle November 9th and 10th. And because I'm in Oregon, so I gotta kind of stay where I can travel, what I can afford to do travel wise, renting some U-Hauls with all my stuff and everything, you know, to go put it on. So the first one was in Portland. This is Seattle. I'd like to maybe move down to Cali or something like that next time, and hopefully I can branch out and start heading towards the East Coast and stuff down.
You gotta come over here to New York, man.
I would love to. I have a lot of friends in New York. I know a lot of people there, so I would love to. It's just everything nowadays is so expensive, dude. Just the gas alone to get over there would kill me, you know.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. Everything is just insane right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah. Right.
So do you have people lined up for this next convention?
I do, yeah. So far I have I got John Moyer from Disturbed. I got Morgan, who actually I made a business partner. He kind of does Headbangers with me. Morgan from Seven Dust. I got Bruce Kulick from Kiss. Cool. Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity and Down. Chris Poland from Megadeth.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm excited about.
He's actually working with Dave Ellison right now too, with that thrash band.
Yeah, Dave Ellison. I had at my first one. I love Dave. He's awesome. Vinny Appice from Dio. You know, Dio's drummer, Black Sabbath, and Dio. And I'm working on. I'm talking probably with 15, 20 other guys right now. Chad Gray and Jesse Leach and Randy from Lamb of God. I mean, I try and I like to get someone from every genre, you know. I'm talking with George from Cannibal Corpse. So from the heaviest of shit to like 80s glam, everything in between. I like to try and get a little bit of everything for everybody. So that way, old man dad like me can come and meet members of Kiss and Motley Crue or Twisted Sister or whatever. And, then the sons can come and meet members of, newer Avenged Sevenfold or these types of bands from the 90s. And then we got the newest guys. I got Matty Mullins from Memphis Mayfire, who's got the younger fan base. So I like to just kind of have the whole gambit. So there's something for everybody,
Yeah, very cool. Have you ever, and I think this band would fit in perfectly, Gwar. Have you ever tried to ask them?
I would love to have Gwar. That'd be awesome. I would love it.
They would fit
I've been in contact with some of their past members before. Yes, but it's just, it's hard because with touring schedules and way up in the Northwest, it's hard to make it all work out sometimes,
Yeah, I can imagine. Is there anybody who you asked, maybe even on the previous ones, that like either said they couldn't do it or maybe gave you a hard time or anything? Did you ever have any issues with anybody?
No, I've never had any issues. One thing that I do is I always say I'm not a promoter. I hate promoters are slime balls, like they're just in it for the money. And I love these dudes. These are my guys. I tattoo half these guys when they get here. Most of these guys they do it on a handshake with me and a promise to tattoo, and then I'll get them drunk or something. Like these are my boys. So I like to think of myself as, hey, I'm just a tattoo artist, metalhead, putting on this thing. Come have fun with me. And I don't like that title of promoter. So I kind of have a really good reputation with these guys. So whenever I talk to somebody new that I don't know, I say, hey, go to my website, look at all of my alumni. I've had 50, 60 rock stars. You pick any one of them you want, and I will get on a group text with you, or I will send you their email and use them for a reference. Like blindly you choose, because I know that these guys had fun. I treated them right. They made money. And they trust me, so that's really important to me. So I don't have a lot of problems getting guys to come. It's just their schedules.
Right.
The problems I have are when they have management and you got to deal with these middlemen that they want all this exuberance amount of money. The guys don't even get half this money because their middlemen take it from them, and they have all these demands and this and that. And when I hear that, I just move past,
Right.
If I can't get a hold of this guy on Instagram or through, Gary or Charlie or Morgan or one of the guys I already know, then I just pass by because I don't like to deal with that shit,
Yeah, it makes things not funny. It turns into a business, which it is, but it's something that's fun. It's just not fun anymore.
Yeah. So, and I want guys that want to be there. The cool thing is, like at the first Headbangers, Eddie Fingers from Twisted Sister and Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys were my 80s guys, and Ron Keel, and they met they met guys, David Ellefson from Megadeth, and they met these other guys, and Alex Bent from Trivium, and they all met at Headbangers Con, and these guys are now really good friends because of my convention, because they hung out there. Bands that would have probably never played together because they're different genres,
right?
And some of them are even doing business deals together now and stuff like that. And I love it. It's awesome. The fact that they met at Headbangers, I think is really cool. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some new bands out of that too.
Well, yeah, I wish, right?
Do you have bands play at this thing, or is it just like meet and greet stuff?
I do. I usually have one band. Like last time I had, so I have a Friday night kind of VIP red carpet press party. Okay. So I get all the local press and podcasters and news and radio. They come, I do the whole red carpet thing. All the celebrities, rock stars come out. They take pictures. They do interviews. So last time I had Stryper play for that opening, the red carpet thing. And then I had Soil, because I'm good friends with Brian McCombs, the lead singer of Soil and Drowning Pool. I had Soil play the Saturday night of my convention. And then I always close it down. I get the local School of Rock to play.
All right, that's right.
And what I'll do is I'll talk to the School of Rock, and I'll give them all the guests, and they will learn songs from, so like they learned a Megadeth song because David Ellefson was there. They learned Cult of Personality, because Corey Glover was there, which is not an easy song to learn,
Right.
So they learned a Twisted Sister song, they learned just a song from all the bands that were there, and then they perform live, and they perform these songs without all the rock stars knowing. So the rock stars are there talking to you, but all of a sudden they hear these 10, 12-year-old kids, playing "We're Not Gonna Take It."
Yeah.
And Eddie's like, holy shit, and he's loving it. And he gets up there and they start rocking out. Some of them grabbed the mic and sang, and it was really cool. And you got to respect these kids learning that metal, and all their parents came and they supported it. So it was awesome. So I decided after that one that from now on, I will close the show Sunday night with School of Rock, wherever I'm at, doing these things. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah, these kids are amazing. I watched some of those videos, and the things that these kids
incredible.
do, it's like,
yeah, they're
insane.
incredible.
I've been playing drums for like over almost 30 years, and I can't do some of the things that these kids are doing.
Right?
It's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The things that like, especially new drummers today, they're learning how to play. It's just insane. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the old school drum, so I don't get it. What's some new bands that you're into lately? Do you have any newer bands?
New bands. I'm into Gideon a lot. Have you heard of Gideon?
No.
They're like a really heavy band out of Texas. Lead singer wears a cowboy hat. They look country. They play metal. They're amazing. There's a band. God, now I really want to know. I'm checking. There's a band out of Australia, I think, called Greyhaven, who I think is incredible. I'm really into bands right now that are super heavy, but they have to be melodic at the same time.
Oh, I got a band for you right here. Severed Angel.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my band.
I can't do the rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a drums and the growling. I can do a little bit of it, but I can't do a lot of that, man. So I have to have some melody and some good. But that's why I love bands like Killswitch Engage and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say those are two that I'm listening to a lot right now. As far as as new rock goes, I tell you what, too, Sebastian Bach's new record.
I heard it's really good.
Wow, yeah. I love it, dude. It's so good. It's got that throwback sound, but it's infused with new. It's current. I love it. I can't get enough of that one too. So
yeah. A lot of people are loving that album, and then everybody just wishes he would go back to Skid Row, but that's a whole
God, I know, right? I almost had him to play at Headbangers. Really? To get him while he was touring, but it just didn't work out at the last second. I was like, God, I would love to have him play. Yeah.
Well, there'll be a time, hopefully, if you keep this thing going, and it sounds like you will. So
yeah,
eventually maybe you will.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And you also, I was looking at your website, you also do a podcast?
I do a podcast called, instead of Headbangers Con, it's called Headbangers Rock Show.
Okay.
And it's me and my best friend of 45 years. And we just talk about 80s metal, hair metal. That's all we talk about all the time. And I have a lot of guests on that have been to, past Headbangers Cons and stuff like that. And we just have a blast, we just do album reviews and album versus album. And we just do it for fun, man. It's my favorite thing to do. It's so fun to just sit there and talk heavy metal from the 80s with your best friend. It's just a blast. So
yeah, that's exactly why I started my other show. Well, the YouTube version of this show. I have like 4 of the people that come on with me. We all just discuss, albums and stuff. I
love it. It's great.
It's just like, hanging out with your friends in the garage or even at school, like back in the day. That's
absolutely.
It's just fun stuff to do.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Tell people again, when is this convention going to be?
Okay, so it's in Seattle, November 9th and 10th. You can get all the info on headbangerscon.com. Across social media, Headbangers Con, whatever platform you're on, it's all Headbangers Con. And I'm always putting up-to-date stuff for whether it's musicians that are attending as guests or vendors that are going to be there if you want to buy some cool shit like local art or music. I'm going to do food trucks. I'm going to do the whole deal. So it's you can go there and you can spend all day there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Have you done any album artwork for anybody, any bands or anything?
No, I haven't. Nothing.
That's something you would want to do
aside from local bands. I would love to do album artwork for someone. So, anyone listening that wants to give me a shot, man, let me know. I'll do it. I painted all these up here. So
I know they're really nice. So yeah.
And I got above them. I don't know if you can see, but I got like I
Oh
do
yeah, there you
Simpsons
go.
portraits. I got
Wow.
all kinds of stuff up around here. So in my
Wow.
office, you know.
Really cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for coming on the show. I had a lot of fun.
I had a blast, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, and I wish you luck with the Comic Con, with the Headbangers convention. I call it Comic Con, the convention, and yeah, and I hope to have you back on here again, and maybe we'll have
Yeah, I
you on
would
my
love
other show.
to.
And we can do some reviews on an album or something at
Oh
some point.
yeah. Anytime, buddy. Anytime. Just let me know.
All right, sounds good. Thank
All
you
right.
very much for
Appreciate you.
coming on. All right,
Thanks,
have
bud.
a good
Stay
night.
metal.
All right, you too.